Dahmer, my friend Dahmer, the most extraordinary actor. Okay, Ross Lynch. If he wasn't so young.
What?
He's not. He's my son.
I am.
But only on screen.
Yeah, in this particular one.
Yeah.
But maybe again in the future.
But in the future, I would like to treat him right in another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Can I treat you right in another movie?
This is Ann, everybody.
Hi.
Ross is live. Anne's live.
Am I that short? Like, you're that much taller than me? Where's my blonde hair?
You also have heels on.
I know. It's terrible.
You look more like my mom without your wig. Yeah.
Without my wig?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Look at it. That's good. Oh my gosh.
I know. No.
You could actually be sister.
I was trying. I wish I could be. Can I be a part?
All right, we got to go to the Q&A. The Q&A. Let's.
I'm going to be part of your band.
We got to go to a Q&A.
All right, we're going to go to
My friend Dahmer Q&A. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
What's going on?
Are you live right now?
You were just texting?
Yes, I was
okay,
live.
cool.
Hi.
Are you live right now?
Yeah, I'm live. Look,
Most amazing.
3,000 people right
Most
here.
amazing answer.
This is Ann, guys.
Most amazing.
Look.
Watch this.
Oh! Show it.
Get in there, Ann. Somebody screenshot this for me. Let's go. I got the picture. I got it. We're going to answer some questions. Should I just live stream the whole questionnaire?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
I want you to be on my. Are you here on Monday?
Sure.
We'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about it later.
We're here. Hashtag creepy mommy.
Come on. It's just not coming out?
Yeah.
All right.
Great job. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Are they fun? Stop it at some point.
Why?
We live all the time.
Hey, look who it is.
Come on.
Come on in.
Oh, then Ross will be here. Ross is here. Ross is here in North Hollywood. Let's see what he has to say.
Are you going to come back for the question and answer? Okay, do your thing.
Q&A. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever done this. It smells a little bit bad in here, I have to be honest. So it does smell a little bit bad in this theater, like people have farted a little bit.
I don't have a marker either.
It's like a fart.
I actually have a marker.
This is a marker?
Yeah.
This is a fart.
I don't know how to say this, but reach in my pocket. That sounds creepy.
Which one?
That sounds creepy.
Adam.
Let's go.
Adam. This is
Hi.
where my dear friend is.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I love it. It was.
Hi everyone, thanks for staying. We have mom and son, Ross Lynch and Ann Heche.
Hi. He's such a gentleman. Hi. Awesome. I think we need another couple of seasons because we also have our producers here, Milan and Adam, and they are watching this movie so that Ross gives them an Oscar. Hello, happening, Oscar.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. You guys like the movie?
Well, I'm just going to start by asking, my name is Robert Abley, and I'm a film critic, local film critic, and I just want to ask, nothing seems more alarming to me to break from being a Disney teen star than playing a cannibal serial killer in training. So I just want you to illuminate for us that road. How did you get this part?
Well, I was just out of Disney contractually, so if I was in Disney, they probably wouldn't have let me do it.
I totally lied. I said that you totally broke your contract to do this part.
You did say that?
No, I've said it all over the place.
Let's just go. That's a better story. That's a better story. Let's go with that.
Anything you read, because I friggin' just said he quit Disney to do this. Sorry.
That's all good. No harm, no foul. But yeah, no. Well, let's go with Anne's story. I totally quit Disney to do this movie. But no, every young actor wants to do a role like this, So even if I hadn't come from Disney, I would have really liked to do this film. But it was a strategic move because unfortunately, everyone who comes from that mold and that Disney Channel thing, you're projected to be a certain way. So a lot of people think of you a certain way. And it was I definitely wanted to do more films like this in the future, and this was gonna.
You hold your mic.
Thank you. This was gonna allow me to do that.
Did you get sent a script? Did you hear about this project? I mean,
Yeah. So at first it was just a script. They were like, "Hey, do you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is?" And I didn't at the time. So before I even read the script, I would do massive research just to find out who Jeffrey Dahmer was. And
did that scare you?
Yeah. It's definitely frightening. Especially when you go into detail about all the things that he did. They're very shocking and alarming and frightening and disturbing and fascinating. And that's really what the big pull for this film is. The fact that it's a coming of age of a serial killer. I've never seen a film like this personally, which was another reason why I was so excited to be a part of it. So yeah, I was sent the script. And I actually met Mark Myers, our director, before I had ever even read it. Which I probably, granted, I should have read it.
You were his first and only choice.
And said he was his first and only choice.
A lot of people auditioned, I think, but I resembled Dahmer. There were certain other things that came into play that made this role, a good move.
Seriously, how amazing is he? It's so crazy that he pulled this off.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
I'm a fan of Anne.
Oh gosh.
Okay, Anne, I want to ask you. So when you're playing somebody real, but not really known, I mean, everyone knows Jeffrey Dahmer. Probably have seen him interviewed on, but his mom not. Does that allow you to be creative in how you interpret, or do you read up on who she was and really try to?
Have a son who's a serial killer, you didn't do that. So I was like, can I do that? Can I be the mother that doesn't see her child? That'd be great, because I had one of those. So it was a meaningful project to me in terms of the face of a person who pretends that they are taking care of their family. And it was meaningful to me in terms of a woman taking, I wanted to show what it looks like when you have the face of a lie.
What kind of pre-movie jitters did you have, Ross, before taking on this role?
It was pre-movie jitters, it was post-movie jitters, it was during movie jitters. Because it was the first time I'd ever done something like this. Now it's good.
Okay.
Now it's all good. Because everyone's reacting to the film in such a positive way.
It's so bold what you did. It's so bold what you did, dude.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, that's really what it is too. Is if I'm gonna make this decision to go from, I did have a good amount of success coming from where I came from. Although it's just Disney Channel, and a lot of people tend to look down on it.
There's only about 100 million people who follow you. Like, what are you talking about?
No, but that's what I'm saying. To do this kind of role, I wanted it to be really, really good, and it had to be good. So that with that brought a lot of stress, especially during filming, And there were a few cases where people would be on set that had actually gone to school with Jeffrey Dahmer, because they had heard about the film and they were excited to see what it was all about. The Akron, Ohio community was actually very welcoming to the film. So they would come on set, and on multiple occasions they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you look exactly like him, and you're walking exactly like he walked."
That walk you have is crazy.
Well, yeah, that's how he walked.
Yeah, that's like a zombie walk. It's
Yeah, kind of, isn't it?
Well, we had a very funny thing because I was not shooting with Ross. I had not met Ross. And one of the most extraordinary stories of my entire life as an actress is that I had to bring Joyce in Ziplocs. So I had to create her before I ever met Ross, and I was coming, and I had to work the next day. So I showed them my wig, the makeup, the body language, because it had to be approved of, because I was working, and we had a very short time to shoot all of our stuff. We had 1 week. And the costume designer called me and said, excuse my language, holy fuck. The way you are standing is exactly how Ross is standing. Like, I can't believe it. And I realized, and I was in Vancouver and he was shooting in Akron, and I realized that the total ability for the two of us to focus in on the shame and the horror of who we were to ourselves and the punishment had left us exactly in the same position. And I never, ever, ever had that experience before.
Do you remember our first day on set?
Yes, fuck yeah. Oh no, I forgot. I remember everything to a fault.
It was so interesting because I feel like we never really I was never like, hey, I'm Ross, or hey, I'm Ann. It was just like, Ann was on set, and it was rehearsal, action, let's do it.
Shooting.
Yeah.
We shot our first day, and it was the scene where I leave him after when he's graduating, and we were asked off camera, and I was asked off camera. I said, no, I want to shoot the rehearsal for sure. I want to see Ross for the first time when he arrives, and asked me to stay as I'm leaving, and that was the end of that.
That was like,
That was a love affair.
yeah.
Now, didn't you guys shoot?
That back.
You shot in his childhood
That was
home.
the first time you watched something back.
Yeah, that was the very first time, because it was near the end of shooting actually.
Last week.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, can I just like check that shot out? Because there's this really beautiful Steadicam sweep where he follows me in and he kind of tracks me throughout. It's one take, And I remember watching that, and it was my first time where I was like, oh man, this shit could actually work. Like, this is, because before that I hadn't seen anything.
The first time we met was the first take that we were together, and it was complete. And you then came up to me afterwards, and I was like, was I too fucked up? I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me. I'm sorry, but I'm the worst. I'm such a #crazy mommy. I'm so sorry. And please forgive me. And he's like, oh no, dude. It's the first thing I've ever asked to watch back. And that was probably the biggest compliment I've ever gotten.
Didn't you shoot in his childhood home? You shot this
did.
movie partly in his childhood home?
Yeah. Everything that you see that actually Ann is in is like mostly in his home, except for the part where you have the divorce papers and you smack Dallas in the head. How did that feel? Was that liberating?
He deserved it. Yeah.
Oh, totally. That was a good whack you got on him.
Here's the thing, the parking lot scene where I'm going and I whack his dad in the head. Here's the thing that was actually literally happening while that was going on, because it was the first time we were out of the house. Every single chick in that town in Akron was outside a window, outside of a sunroof, or in a convertible, screaming their faces off, wanting Ross to look at them. And we're doing the most serious scene, and Ross is like in the back being Dahmer with his brother. And in the meantime, you got like...
They would do like these drive-bys.
Oh my God, drive-bys. And Ross, of course, comes out of the car, and he's so gorgeous and lovely. And he turns into Ross, like, oh my God, hey you guys. And in the meantime, we're playing the darkest, most awful thing in the whole world is one of, whatever, your many gifts. You're in all that loud. I could go on and on.
Ross, after you finish playing Jeffrey Dahmer, do you...
I'm gonna make you write my Wikipedia page. Can you do that for me?
Flash.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. But do you have to take time to shake off a role like this after you finish playing it?
Unfortunately, it was I was at the rap party actually where Jody Giorgenti, one of our main producers, came up to me and she was like, "Oh, this is the real Ross." Like it was just so apparent to her that I was like a little different, Because to me, on set I was just kind of doing my thing, just kind of in it. doing day by day. I didn't really notice that I was, probably kind of darker, But it did take maybe a week or so, just like getting back in my like family mold and being back home and stuff like that. It definitely took its toll, sure.
Do we have time to ask if anybody wants to ask a question? Does anybody want to ask a question?
What was the most difficult part of filming?
The most difficult part of filming was asked.
It was a whirlwind.
With me.
No, it's definitely not working with Anne. Actually, Anne was one of the easiest people to act against because she was so interested in my performance as much as she was in hers, and that's a good trait in an actor because it just it elevates the scene so much, But really, the whole film was a whirlwind. It just kind of felt like we were just kind of like on this track and just going and going and going. One thing that was kind of interesting is I flew to Japan in the middle of filming, and I did a show.
Right before I saw you.
Yeah, right before Anne came on set, and that was a little interesting just because like I'm no longer Dahmer when I'm on stage. I gotta be like this rock star dude, and then I go back to Akron, Ohio, and just like so that was interesting to kind of like feel those polar opposites. But one of the most fun scenes, or one of the most like reels, like in the moment scenes was the car scene at the end with me and Alex. I freaked Alex out. I really did. He like couldn't look at me for like a week. It was hilarious.
Well, you guys had an interesting relationship because although they were friends on screen and it was the person who represented who wrote the book, you guys had a very interesting relationship because you didn't have interaction, right?
Yeah, Alex had this idea before shooting where he was like, hey man, I think it'd be beneficial for our dynamic as people if we just didn't talk. So, although, oftentimes we did and hang out on the weekends and stuff like that, there were multiple scenarios like filming that car scene where we didn't talk. Especially in that scene, actually, we didn't talk all day long. And I think it did help.
Oh god, it's my favorite scene in the movie.
It's everything in the whole film builds up to that
I
moment.
like when you like have the barbells on. I like that with your crazy, hilarious shorts and like working out. I have many favorites.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming and thank Ross and Ann for being here and the producers.
Hey, thank you guys so much. It means the world you came to see the film. Thanks so much.
I truly think you did a great film career after this.
Thank you.
Stop it! Forget Paul Newman, dude. Move aside.
Thank you all for coming.
Sorry. I embarrass you.
Talk up social media.
All right.
I was told to talk up